Chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Is that good? Haribol. Everything in fives today. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Arjunuvacha Vacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punar Yogam Chashamshasi Yachtraya Etayorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishitam Shri Bhagavan Sanyasya karma yogascha nikshayasya karavubhau tayostu karma sanyasat karma yogo vishishyate gyayasa nitya sanyasi yo na dveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham vandat pramuchyate Sankhya Yoghau Pratagbala Pravadanti Napanditaha Ekam Apyastita Samyag Ubayor Vindate Palam Yat Sankhya Prapyate Stanam Tad Yogar Apikamyate Ekam Sankhyam Cha Yogam Cha Yapashyati Sapashyati Sanyasyastu Mahabaho Dukam aptum ayogataha yoga yukto manir brahma nacharin adigachyati yoga yukto vishudhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma purvan api nalipyate naiva kinchit kuromiti yukto manyeta tattvavid Pashyan Shrinvan Sprishan Jigran Ashnan Gachchan Swapan Swasan Pralapan Visrajan Grindan Unmishan Inmishan Napi Indriyan Indriyarteshu Vartanta Iti Dharayan Ramanyadaya Karmani Sangam Tyakva Karotiya Dipyatena Sapapena Padma Patram Ivambasa Kayena Manasa Bhutya Kevalerindriyerapi Yogina Karma Kurvanti Sangam Tyakva Mashudhaye Yukta Karma Palam Tyaktva Shantim Apnoti Naishtikim Ayukta Kama Karena Pale Sakto Nibhadyate Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyaste Sukham Vashi Navadware Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvan Nakarayan Nakartritvam Nakarmani Lokasya Srijati Prabhu Nakarma Pala Samyogam Sabhavastu Pravartate Nadate Kashichit Papam Nachaiva Sukritam Vibhu Ajnanan Navritam Jnanam Tena Huhyanti Jantava Jnanena Tutada Jnanam Yesham Nashitam Atmana Tesham Aditya Vajnanam Prakashayati Tatparam Tad Buddhayas Tadatmanas Tanishtas Tatparayana Gachantya Punar Avritim Jnananirduta Kalmasha Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Ramane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shapakecha Pandita Samadarshina Ihaiva Terjita Sargo Yesham Samyestatam Manaha Nirdosham Hi Samam Brahma Tasmad Brahmani Testitaha Naprashriyet Priyam Prapya Nodvijet Prapya Chapriyam Stira Budhira Sambudo Brahmavid Brahmanistitaha Vaya Sparshe Swasaktatma Vindatyatmani Yatsukham Sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukhamakshayam ashnute. Yehi samsparshata bhoga tukayo naya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha shaknoti haivaya shodhum praksharira vimokshanat kama krodod bhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi nara yonta sukontara ramas tatantar jyotirevaya sayogi brahma nirvanam Rama Bhuto Digacchati Labante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Shina Kalmasha China Dvaida Yatatmana Sarva Bhuta Hiterata Kama Krodha Vimuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam Abhita Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam Sparshan Kritva Bahir Bhayams Chakshush Chaivantare Bruvo Pranapanau Samau Kritva Nasabhyantara Charinau Yatendriya Mano Buddhir Munir Moksha Parayana Vigatechcha Bayakrodho Yaksada Mukta Evasaha Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Yatvamam Shantirichyati Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahmavidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Sannyas Yoga Nama Panchamodhyayaha Hari Om. Who's playing drum? Baba. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Bolo, bolo.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Haribo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Haribo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Haribo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare.
Haribo! Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Haribo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama
Arushi. Krishna, no. Not tonight. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Part two.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shasta song. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're doing what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended, what to speak of all the other acharyas. I mukta kaleru pasyamanam harinama paritastam samshrayami. There's a universal process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just taught everyone in Kali Yuga to chant Hare Krishna. If you ever have any difficulties in your life, then what's the solution? Okay, I'll clue you in how to respond. Chant Hare Krishna. Someone comes to you with a problem and you'd like to give them the best advice possible. What would you advise? Your dog died and you feel like you got an uppercut to the heart. What should you do? Your children are locked in and the house is a mess. You don't know when dinner is going to get started. What should you do? Exams are coming up. You feel overwhelmed. You got 3 more exams than you can actually handle. You're not doing well in biology anyway. What should you do? Prabhupada told us when he was talking about wars in the world and the devotees were in anxiety, they said, Prabhupada, how should we get ready? And Prabhupada said, get ready to? That's what he said. So, of course, there are other things we have to do in life. You have to work. That's a necessity. Even those who don't have to work as an example, and they show how to work for Krishna. But the most important practice in our life that can be ongoing it doesn't mean you have to stop or you have to limit yourself. You can always keep the Maha Mantra going in your mind, or you can keep it going in the background. I've seen people do that quite well, always keeping the vibration going. If you're always chanting in between when you're walking to classes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Where else might you be going where there's a slight lag in between one thing and the other? Driving somewhere? So where are you driving from and to? From your home to your school, what could you do in the interim? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you're feeling sad in life, what should you do? Grab your bead bag like this and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Once I was having a bad week, and I called my mother from the LAX airport. I was out on book distribution. I was talking to her, and she goes, "How are you doing?" I said, "Okay." She said, "Doesn't sound very good." She said, "You listen to me. You put your hand in that bag, and you start chanting." So I grabbed my bag, and I chanted, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the main teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a huge order that he gave us, because Krishna is non-different from his name, and anytime we chant Hare Krishna, then we'll understand what to do, and we'll also rise above the modes of material nature. Okay, we have time for 2 or 3 reflections. By the way, we're leaving on Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon at 12 o'clock, and we're going to fly to, we means myself and Nirakula Devi Dasi, we're flying to London. And from London, we're going to go to New Mayapur, which is in France. Anybody here speak French? Yes? You going to come? I'll let you know how it is if anybody wants to go to France later. But there's a chateau there. It's a huge property. Back in the 80s, there was a lot of income coming into ISKCON, especially in Europe, from Sankirtan and other ways. And devotees invested in huge properties. New Mayapur has been a school for a long time, and it's also Chitralekha Saki's there. She's a really important devotee, so we're going to see her. And Janananda Swami is in that region. The French devotees are coming up in book distribution in a really big way. Agnidev Prabhu has spent a lot of time in France. Last time I talked to him on the phone, of course, I saw him in Laguna Beach, but before that, I was talking to him, and he said, if you ever get a chance, come to France, because he said they need some spark. That they're all here, but it's sort of a forgotten place off the beaten path. And so we're going to have a retreat there for 6 days. The retreat is about the 5 most important limbs of bhakti, Panchangam Bhakti, in the morning, time for the Bhagavatam class and a 2-hour class in the morning. We'll have Kirtan. Havi Prabhu's coming there to do a lot of Kirtan and Bhajan. And then in the evening time, we're going to have another seminar and some more bhajans and things like that. And just still time if you want to come. Then we'll go back to the UK for the last weekend and have programs there for about 6 days, and then we'll plan to be back here around the midway through April. Sorry, I'm just telling you about it now when we're leaving in 2 days. But it came up kind of suddenly. It was a little spontaneous. And we've been putting together the logistics of it, because I feel like it would be nice to have more retreats. And Divyanam Prabhu, who's there in the UK, who's already in the hospitality business, he and his wife, Vrindarika Ramai, they're both in the hospitality business. But Divyanam Prabhu, recently decided that he was going to go into business for himself and start a retreat company. So he's testing it out. with this. And also we plan in December, around the 23rd, to have a youth retreat so that those anywhere from around 14 to 25 who want to go to Jagannath Puri and Mayapur and have kirtan and visit the holy places can come on a retreat as well. That one I'm telling you about a little earlier, right? So maybe there's a chance. Details to be released very soon within the next couple of weeks, because to plan ahead already for Kartik, I had to just get my ticket the other day because it's, it seems like a long way off, but it's a really popular destination around October, November. So hopefully we'll be back in business at Govardhan Hill, and anyone who wants to come, let me know. You're invited. We have Bhagavatam readings there every day for about 5 hours a day. And also we have parikram in the morning going around Govardhan Hill. It's about the most fun you could ever have. And there's a beautiful ashram out there. Then in December we'll have the youth retreat with youth invited from various places around the world, but especially from here, if you can spare the time. Yeah. Krishna willing. It's Krishna willing. Any thoughts or realizations before we break for the night and go? Yes. Right here.
Hare Krishna Raj.
Hare Krishna, Arman.
During the kirtan, I was just realizing how fortunate we are to have heard the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and how we should spread that to all around, so that so other people get that fortune too.
I always love your enthusiasm, Arman. It's right on the money. Thank you, Hare Krishna. You know, I heard this tune in Vrindavan at a Guru Puja. You know, right after the Guru Puja, and then someone broke out and sang this song, and I thought, wow, that's brilliant, and it turned out really well. It's a nice tune that you can really hold and keep going for a long time, just on the two parts. For big kirtans, like when we do Abhishek or when we're doing Harinam and stuff like that. Could do it for a whole hour, I think, because it's such a nice tune, don't you think? Any other thoughts or realizations? Yes. Sadhu Vrindavan. Looking very nice, by the way.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisances, all gracious Srila Prabhupada. In one of my Gurudev's classes, he was talking about, he was talking in the context of, I think it was Rupa Goswami saying, Dwarka is perfect, but Mathura is more perfect, and Vrindavan is the most perfect. And he was, in this context, he was saying how chanting the holy name is perfect. More perfect is chanting the holy names of the Lord with other devotees, and most perfect is preaching the holy names of the Lord to the non-devotees. And he was also saying that how to receive the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And to receive the mercy of Lord Nityananda, you have to preach to the Jagais and Madais all over the world. So I was just thinking of how distributing books and going on Sankirtan is really important.
That's a really nice progression. Thanks for reminding us. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So that's how we're geared up here, is really for reaching out and giving Krishna consciousness to others as much as possible. And I must say, all of you are doing it in an exemplary fashion. I noticed that everyone goes out for book distribution, comes out for the Harinams, contributes in all different ways, and also keeps a really nice environment here. And it's also become apparent how important it is for follow-up, that when we meet nice people, there's a place where we can seamlessly have them integrate into the practice of Krishna consciousness, which really means making friends and associations with people. Krishna Saka Prabhu, Kautakarnava Prabhu over the last year have been really expert at that, going out on book distribution and then meeting people and bringing them into, for instance, the bhakti community, and making sure that they feel appreciated and many of them are staying and practicing Krishna consciousness as their life and soul now because of that whole cycle that we have going on here, and we can just develop that more and more. Another project that we're working... Yes, please go ahead. Just after you, I'll say.
Please go ahead, Prabhu. I'll talk after you.
No, please.
I just wanted to share.
We used to have home programs at our house, and Shri Leela was one of the first ones that came. Even when there was just a few people there, she was coming regularly. Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to share a couple of GNABs from the book distribution yesterday. So there was one lady we met. She said that she had been to Vrindavan and she's really very favorable towards ISKCON. And then she said, but I have a feedback that some of the books have pictures that are, they have blood and all that, the demons, Krishna killing the demons. And I feel afraid to show it to my daughter. So I don't know if I should take these books home. She said, I have a lot of books. And then I told her, I said, well, actually, Putana is probably who you're referring to. That's the first picture you probably saw. And she said, yeah. I said, actually, Putana represents false guru. So, when we have Krishna, it's to in that painting, it's to show how we can be cheated by so many false gurus in this world. And Prabhupada has so kindly given us these paintings to access the mercy of Krishna. So I said, you explain to your daughter so that she's aware that she's not cheated by all the false gurus. And she was so happy to hear that explanation. And then she stood and she talked for almost 15 minutes. And then she went away. I didn't know what her feeling was. And she came back today with her daughter here.
Haribo!
And then it was almost 7, and I was telling Nitai that, let's go, it's time. I have things to do at home. And he said, no, just let me finish one more Trimurti set. And it so happened that this man came out from the store, and he just, offered him, he said, this is for you. And that's how Malini Mataji has trained him, give it to them. And he just said, I'm in a hurry, but I want to give you $50. And then when I was about to swipe his card, he said, actually, just make it 100. And I was so shocked that if I had left 2 minutes before, we would not have met this soul. So it was such a sign that Krishna had encouraged us to just give a little bit more of our time. And, we got this Lakshmi for Madan Mohan. I was so grateful that Prabhupada has given us this process.
You guys, you read Krishna book? What do you think of the Krishna killing the demons? It's okay? Good, right? Do you mind the pictures with the blood and stuff? He likes it? No? What is? He likes it. How old are you? He's 3 and he likes it. It's a little different because it's transcendental. Krishna kills somebody, then he's doing the greatest good for them. It's kind of funny though. I remember when we were distributing books in the old days, we used to tell them these are books on how to be more in harmony with nature and stuff, and then they'd open it and see Krishna chopping everyone's head off. One last reflection? Oh, a couple more. Okay. 1, 2.
Okay, Haribol. I was just reflecting on the UC Davis event we had a couple weeks ago where Indajimna Swami came to campus and he gave like a whole program for the kids and everything. Not the kids, we're like for the college students.
The youth there, yeah.
Yeah. And it was really nice. And the whole event, I think, was one of our first completely youth-run events. Well, we didn't make any of the food. Govinda Priya Mataji totally took care of that, which was such a big help. But other than that, it was totally youth-run and youth-planned and youth-driven. And I just was reflecting on the event and how seamlessly it went and how professionally it was done. And I was thinking that it's a testament to how much, like us, children from ISV have learned from you, Maharaj, and like how much we carry that forward in everything that we produce. Because like the whole event was just, it was really professional, like the way we do it here. And the whole thing was like, leave a good impression, leave the place cleaner than we found it. It was like all these basic principles that we learned from growing up here that was used in that event. And it was so beautiful. Like the students really loved it, and they were all like forming a huge line to talk to Maharaj afterwards. And yeah, it was so good. And I was just thinking, we've been trained exceptionally well to go out and preach on our own. And the event was like a testament to that. So yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Well, I must say I'm deeply touched to hear that. But, I'm not surprised also, because you all have so much talent and taste for the Krishna consciousness, more than you even know, more potential. And just as the days go by, the time factor is changing everything, in case you haven't noticed. It's kind of uncanny being in one small community and just watching how everything changes and relating it to the Bhagavad Gita. But one of the aspects is watching all of you grow into more responsible roles, taking actual responsibility for leading the Krishna conscious movement and going out and preaching and everything like that. And I've always had a sense, just of expectation of watching it happen, and now it is. So I couldn't be more happy and satisfied. And thank you for all that you're doing to help organize and teach. And I saw these the young girls in the front row, how they were organizing, passing around the mic and stuff. And I saw already, there's kind of a shifting going on. You are all starting to be like the adults in the room. And then these kids are amazingly showing their enthusiasm and leadership and everything like that. And you can just see one wave after another. Like you said, once it's a tight-knit community, and that's really what we want, everyone to be empowered, to be able to use all their talents and youth to expand Krishna consciousness. Thank you for all that you're doing, all of you. Hare Krishna. Okay, last one from Kameshwari, who's been a leader of the youth Sankirtan since the last couple decades. That didn't make sense. For the last couple decades. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhuji, for the comment that was made for the books and the pictures in the Krishna book, I wanted to share quickly. Many years back, one time we had good fortune to host Dhriti Mataji and Ramdas Abhiram Prabhu at our home for Prasadam. That time Prabhuji and Mataji shared few things with Prabhupada, that they had some pastimes. One of the pastime, Ramdas Prabhu was mentioning that he had painted the Shishupal killing picture, and he had shown Krishna is holding chakra, and Shishupal is standing there with his hands in very arrogant manner. And then when Prabhupada saw it, and then Prabhupada said, okay, so what is happening? Then Prabhu said that Krishna is going to kill Shishupal now, he's ready with chakra. And then Prabhupada said, so show his head cut off. and that's what Krishna chastised the demon. And that's what I remember. We can hear from Diti Mataji more, probably for more, but that's what I remember he told. And then Prabhuji changed the painting and he showed the head cut off, and that was Prabhupada's according to his instruction. Just wanted to share that.
Haribol. Tejas Prabhu, give us one verse that you've been thinking of to end the talk. Something that's really dear to you, a verse that you really like.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Anyone's okay. It doesn't have to be fancy.
Okay. Well, one topic that I really like is moksha anadara, which is like disrespecting moksha. And Srila Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says that he lists out at least like 20 verses where he's just saying that devotees should not be taking liberation. And so there's a verse that Dhruva Maharaj says when he finally sees the Lord. And so he says, Ya nivritis tanubhritam tava pada padma dhyanad bhavajjana katha shravanena vasyat sa brahmani swamahimanya pinathamabhut kim tvantaka salulitat patatam vimanat. So in this verse he says that the bliss that can be found in listening to the katha of Hari Katha, and by remembering his feet, that cannot be found in impersonal liberation. So what to say of going back to Swarga or going to any other material world, because ultimately you're going to fall down again. And so I thought that was really, really brilliant of him.
Wow. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Shringadeva, if you so desire, please bless and empower everyone who joined tonight, everyone who couldn't join, everyone who thought about joining, other ones who didn't know about it, that they may always have a taste for chanting the holy names and eager to join the kirtan, eager to give Krishna consciousness to others through Sankirtan, book distribution, and the mass distribution of prasad. Please keep all the devotees safe if you so desire, and keep everyone in a happy mood in your service. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone who agrees with the spirit and content of this prayer in part or in whole, please say Hare Krishna. Vanchakop Drusha Kripasanave Vachapatitana Padmyo Vaishnave